click the go live button. Well, hopefully. Oh, we're live already. Look at that. Oh, why are we struggling?
Internet struggling?
You seeing us live?
There we go. Yeah.
Let me see your. Why is we shouldn't be seeing that? Why is that there? Nice. There.
No, mine's showing your page refreshing.
That shouldn't be there.
No. Okay. There we go.
All right, now we're up.
Overpower!
All
Overpower!
right, we got good sound. Can everybody hear okay? Anybody in the chat yet?
I don't see anybody. Let me back out and refresh.
Back out, get back in there. Let's see. I'll pull it up too.
There we go. 7.
7. All right, guys. Hey, give us a thumbs up there in the chat and let us know that you can hear everybody.
Hi,
Joe,
Brett.
Howard. Howard, say hi.
Hello.
Everyone's here to
Hello.
see you tonight. Howard?
Hello?
Uh-oh. We lost Howard.
Well, sound.
Sound.
I hear you, Howard.
Oh, we lost Joe.
I don't know if
What? Joe?
I'm here.
I'm here. I hear you.
Okay, I hear Joe. Howard, I can't hear you. Howard?
Hello, Doug.
There we go. Now I got you. It's probably on
there we
my
go.
end. Whatever it is, I'll take the blame. I don't know what's causing that. Who we got in the chat?
We got Brett, John, and Captain Corum.
Hey, guys.
Welcome.
Because of the way we're doing our special guest tonight, I can't see the chat right now. Maybe I'll pull it up. And, now I got you. Whoops. There we go. Now I got you all. There we go. Hey, John. All right. John says he hears Howard and Joe just fine. Hey, Larry's
Larry.
here.
Yep.
Larry ain't been here in a
Larry.
while.
Yeah. He was out chasing eclipse.
Oh, is that what Larry was doing?
Yeah.
All right.
This is our
There's a lot of
unofficial
music.
mascot,
Mike was
Daphne.
in. Doug
Little-
Taylor.
You got crypto.
Hey, Daphne.
Hey, Daphne.
Daphne, right?
Daphne, not crypto. Come on.
Daphne.
Joe
Daphne.
turned into Superman.
All right, guys.
You're knocking my headphones out. Stop it.
Zero tech glitches. Is this a first for Overpower Adventures?
It is. Howard and Joe helped.
Yeah. I don't know. I think
We gotta
We gotta get this out of the way now, so she doesn't do it when it matters.
Yeah,
You gotta get down.
We don't have too many glitches until we bring in guests, and then that always makes it
Throws in
interesting.
a monkey wrench.
Yeah, I had my buddy Corey was here today. I was hoping he would come back and help me, but not my son, but a different Corey, and he left early. Doug Taylor says maybe Larry has Eclipse trivia for us tonight. Hey, Daniel, how are you? Eric Counts made it in. Awesome. All right. We're doing good. Look at that. Everyone's climbing. They want to hear what Howard has to say about the North American Overpower League. Howard, I'm going to start you off with a quick question, even though we're still kind of early.
Sure.
How did you come up with that name, North American Overpower League?
Well, I think what happened there used to be a thing we had. Used to be an organization or a loosely coupled alliance called the North American Overpower Alliance. These guys, Dave McMillan, guys from Toronto, and that they were playing games regularly, and we just wanted to essentially take things to the next level. So we actually formed a league, adopted our own sort of set of rules and so forth, and we are where we are.
I like how you chose North American Overpower League. People in the United States say I'm from America, but you know, Canadians are American too. We're all North American, so I like that. A lot of people don't do that. Hey, Ricky's here. Hi, Ricky. Ricky, you had a battle site you wanted me to use for Thursday night. I can't remember what it was. I'll look at that. Bit of an echo. Ricky, is that echo when somebody in particular talks or when any of us are? Yeah.
Bet you the mics are too close.
This mic's off. Doug, Howard is doubled through your microphone. How was that? Howard has an echo. I'm having Howard being a slight delay. All right.
Yep, I don't think those should be side by side.
Okay. Howard, can you hear me
Yes.
okay?
I can.
Oh,
No, we don't have Howard.
Howard.
I'm here.
Hey, Joe.
Yep.
Can you hear me?
Neither one.
They both bailed on me.
I can hear you both.
There.
Yeah, I
Joe's
can
there.
hear you. And I
Yeah,
can
you're,
hear
you're
them,
there. I got you both. I don't know why you
Okay.
keep fading out once in a while. All right. Just so we can test this this microphone thing, Howard. Let's have a few questions.
Sure.
Got a little bit of a history of the North American Overpower League. Who runs it? Who all was involved in running the league?
All right, so the way we operate, we have five tournaments we deliver every year. And each of the tournament organizers for those tournaments, part of the leadership group that essentially make the decisions for the North American Overpower League.
The 5 people that run the events?
That's correct.
Okay.
I'd like to say we're the largest overpower league in the world, but we may be the only one. I'm not exactly sure.
Same thing.
The best players who play overpower are part of our league. We've grown. We're 70 people strong now in the who are signed up to our challenge, which is our tournament software that we use. And I guess in my case, being retired, I probably have more time than the other tournament organizers. So people probably hear from me and see my face a lot more often than they do the others. But we don't have a president, a vice president, anything like that. We all have an equal voice and an equal share of the responsibilities.
Okay, Howard, I got a couple questions here from the chat.
Sure.
Do you have the stream on your phone or on your computer, or are you just doing the Facebook? Because it's saying we got a big echo from Howard.
Sorry, could you repeat that for me?
Are you watching us live, or are you just doing it through the messenger? Because it says they got a big echo.
I'm inside Messenger watching.
And that's it. I don't know why there'd be an echo there. They say we got an echo.
Is that any better? I might have still had my phone logged from when we were on earlier, so I just turned that off. Did that help?
That did it, Joe.
There's three people on there. If we're not talking, we should be muting. That's where the echo's coming from.
No, I think it was it my phone?
Yep, I think so.
I'm so sorry, guys.
That's all right.
I turned it off.
Well, no, we got it. They said they could still understand everything you said, Howard, so it's all good.
Even though it was in
You just hear
Canadian.
it twice.
And Zach says you were on a loop.
Reinforcement.
And that says Joe echoes too. The echo should be gone now. Hey, Marcel, welcome to the chat. Joe is echoing too. You guys are still saying I think they're done.
I think they're good now.
All right. Tell me a little bit, Howard, about what you're going to do. What is your plans with the Player of the Year award, and how you're going to determine that this year?
Yeah, we're actually pretty excited about it this year. We thought last year by using the ratings, it was a great way of figuring out who the Player of the Year was. But we determined, at the end of the year that using an ELO-based calculation, which the ratings are, it was geared more for players competing in many more tournaments and games than we have. And in some ways, it was almost a disincentive to play. If you ran the table in one tournament, your rating was very high, if you played and didn't do so well in the next, your rating went down significantly. So we sort of talked about it at length after the season, and what we've come up with here is a different way. We've divorced our player of the year from the rating.
This is just a speaker.
So for
This isn't a mic.
can you hear? Is there a problem with me? Or?
They're saying there's still an echo, but I'm trying to figure out where they're getting an echo from.
Okay, so
Go ahead and keep talking, Howard. They can hear you.
for players of the year, only top 8 players get any points. So if you make the top 8 for a tournament, you're going to get 4 points. And every subsequent win in the single elimination finals tournament, the player would get an additional 4 points. And a player who makes the top 8 in one tournament earns an additional 2 points for each unique character the player uses in subsequent top 8 finishes, if they choose to do so. Variants are considered different characters. Clones are considered the same character in different clothing. So you can't use a clone in that case. I will be the one doing the tallying after each tournament, and I'll be reporting on it probably within 2 days of the tournament completing. So we feel this is a really fair way and an objective way of figuring out our player of the year. And Phil gets a free ride into all the tournaments this year because of his success last year, and that will carry on for 2024. Whoever the player of the year is will get 2025 free admission to all the other tournaments.
Okay. It says we're still got an echo. I don't know where it could possibly be coming from. Can you guys hear me okay?
Howard, can you hear them?
Not at all.
Really?
Oh, there you go. Now you're back.
Okay. I muted my microphone to try and get rid of the echoing, and they're saying it's still not working. This is crazy.
Yeah, they're saying that we should probably go on mute after somebody's
I
done
was just
speaking.
on mute, and it didn't work.
It didn't work either.
I think everybody's got to be on mute who's not speaking.
All right, well, let's try that. I'm going to mute. You guys mute.
Okay, I'm going to try. I'm talking here, folks. Is there still an echo?
I don't know. They're not replying, Howard. Let's see. All right.
Doug and Phil sound fine. It's
Doug.
Joe and Howard, according to the chat.
All right. All right. It says they can hear us fine, but Howard and Joe are echoing. I got no clue why.
Do you have an open stream playing on your end, Doug, that it's picking up through that microphone?
That's what I'm thinking.
This ain't a microphone.
No, I think this is picking up with the microphone. So they hear it through here, then they hear it through here.
Let's see here. I don't want to do that. All right. Howard. Ricky says let's use sign language. Let's see here.
I only know one sign language. Ricky, you don't want to see it?
All right, I'm going to try this and see how this goes. Can you guys hear me okay? I wonder.
Yep.
Joe was fine for a while, but whatever change he made him echo also. Oh, I think you guys are hearing things. Hey, Howard, do we have pricing announced for Player of the Year?
Well, we have the prize from the NAOL, which is free admission into all the tournaments next year. I'd have to turn it over to Joe to see what BMG's got lined up for Player of the Year. Last year it was a beautiful, rare uncut sheet. I don't know what it is this year.
So we've got some prizes to announce. I'm going to be honest, we haven't figured out what we want to do for Player of the Year yet. So we internally just set up all of our promos for the year. We're not going to give those away till it's time, but there are definitely going to be there's going to be a new aspect that's playable by home bases, which I think will be something that people will enjoy. And I think there's going to be a mission set very similar to what the Canadians did. Not we. I wasn't involved in this. They made a mission set for the 20th anniversary. We've missed the 30th by a little bit, but I think we're going to retroactively do a 30th anniversary mission set, kind of an homage to the awesome work that they did, with some very similar things to it. Those are going to be promos. So there'll be obviously a new playable promo for every tournament that's BMG legal. That's a completely new card, just like we did last year. We want to do a home base for one of them. Things that we want to shake them up a little bit. Last year, we wanted to really flesh out the any character cards. We may see one any character card, but we wanted new playable cards for other areas. For smaller prizes that we can announce. So one thing that we're going to do this year, and I'm going to hold my phone up and see how this works. So this is what the winner of the OKC shootout is going to be. Can you guys see this? This is going to be a ring for the winner, the first place winner. We're going to do a ring for the winner of every tournament for this year. So that's one thing that's going to be fun. So everybody's going to have their ring. And then in addition to that, give me 1 second because I got to bring it up.
Do you need our sizes?
We are also going to do.
Or muted. Oh.
Sorry, I'm trying to pull these up on my phone, so I didn't the proof, so I couldn't have them both queued up. So bear with me for 1 second.
What's the chat saying?
Nothing.
No echo?
They're not saying it now.
So we're also going to have, for the top 8 for each event, we're getting enamel pins made. So if you start top 8ing, my plan for these enamel pins is that we're going to do top 8 enamel pins for all events going forward. I kind of have a vision where after a few years, people can have their little, all their top 8 pins on a lapel or on a bag, so you can start to keep track of how many times you hit a top 8 at one of the NAOL events. So these are just 2 of the things that we're doing now. In a perfect world, I think it's going to be tough to, by the end of this season, to have anything that's uncut sheets for new sets. But obviously, if there's a way we can do something like that, then we're definitely going to be doing some kind of uncut sheets for whatever our first release is for Player of the Year. They're just, things are fluid enough at this point that we can't announce, we can't really announce much else other than that at this point. So
Still echoing, but they gave up, they said?
They're saying we still got an echo?
Yeah.
Guys, I'm sorry. I have no idea where that echo could be coming from. I've turned off everything.
Could they hear what I was saying?
But we need that mic. Well, how bad is the echo? Can you guys still hear okay? Are we doing all right otherwise?
You want to hear what the goat said?
No, not really. What'd he say?
He compared it to
Voice
heaven.
of God.
Yeah.
One ring to warm all. Oh, it's echoing. We just all gave up. Still an echo, and Doug and Phil are not muted. They said they could understand Joe, but it's still an echo. Okay, well.
But they're understanding everything that's coming out.
It's still not good. I'd like to get rid of it. I turned off a mic.
Let me try something.
What's that?
Doug, let me try something. I'm gonna mute my microphone, and Joe, can you say a few things just to see if it's still echoing?
All right, guys, Howard's muted. How's the echo now with the other people muted? Are you guys hearing me okay? Echo, echo, echo.
question from Brett. Can we get a "I finally won my first game at a tournament" pin?
Oh. I mean, stuff like that. I do like that. Yeah, it's something to incentivize. It's a great idea, Brent. That's an awesome idea. Again, I don't think I'm in a position to make any promises yet, but I do really like the idea of pins for other achievements. So let me run that up the flagpole to everybody else and see what we can do.
I like that one. That's nice. All right, Howard, I'm going to bring you back on here for a minute. What is your relationship with BMG?
You're talking about the NAOL? Yeah, so BMG provides, okay, all the support, as we heard, for our events, prizes and other things related. In exchange, we agree to play by their rules and to use their cards wherever possible. You know, we like to think that B&G values our feedback and at times uses as sounding boards for new ideas, etc. Frankly, we're good friends with the owners. We know the future of Overpower is in their hands right now. And what we're trying to do is provide whatever help we can to ensure they're successful. I think that probably wraps it up as well as anything.
Okay, good. Marcel says it's great info, so even though they're struggling through the echo, he wants us to keep going. Marcel says we need the kingpin here to take care of echo. Yeah, I don't know if anybody watched the show or not, but I guess a bunch of us have. I did, not yet. Hey, Joe, you brought up you missed the 30th anniversary. So we count 1994 as the first year for Overpower, or 1995?
It was 95.
Oh, so I guess we haven't quite got there yet. So it'll be perfect. For some reason, I was thinking 92, but that's the first year Magic came out. So that number was in my head when I said that. But that makes more sense why that was being pitched by the other people in the group that are smarter than me.
Okay, good. So let me unmute myself here. So you just made a mistake. So next year is the 30th.
Yeah.
And
it was 95. Yeah, so we'll put this at the end of the season. It'll be leading right into the 30th, so it'll be perfect.
You know what Ricky said in the chat? You must be thinking of Magic the Gathering. Ricky knew.
There you go, Ricky. Keep me honest, Ricky.
Yeah. So we can have a 30th anniversary party at Origins next year.
I love that idea.
Yeah. That'd be great. Bill Keffer says Magic in 93. Overpower in 95. And Stefan says the info is solid for sure, and echo isn't a reason to turn off or anything. Great. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you. So, Howard, I don't like the challenge software very much. I don't like using it. I know you are the one who is tasked with using it right now. So why did we choose it, and are we going to use it going forward? And are you going to get some help with using it?
Yeah, it's a good. I know you don't like it, Doug. I'm glad you asked the question. Let's first of all step back a little bit. And when I first came back to Overpower in 2019 with my sons, we started noticing that, you know, we were so far behind the times. We go to tournaments and there'd be people filling out sheets of paper, trying to get the brackets right. I'd go to tournaments in the first round, I'd play my sons, you know, like we just didn't have any automation whatsoever. So, you know, the group met and we said, let's see if we can come up with something. So I took it upon myself, you know, to sort of say, okay, what do we really need in software? We wanted to be a competitive league, and we wanted to modernize and standardize. So one thing we found out early is the players really wanted a Legion type rating system, which we didn't have at all. Okay. We did an environmental scan. I guess I did most of it on various cloud services that were available, and that could potentially meet our needs. Okay. Some of the things we assessed was the cost of use. We knew people that wouldn't want to pay for much. Okay. We wanted some kind of software where the client base was large, where it wasn't just, whoever's providing the service wasn't just going to disappear in a day or two. We knew we needed to support Swiss style brackets, which aren't popular beyond normally chess type environments. We wanted automated bracket generation. We wanted support for player profiles, player self-reporting, self-registration. We wanted the rating system to be integrated with this solution, and we wanted push support so we could get announcements out to people and improve the communications. And finally, one of the things I was looking for, which we never turned on last year, and we probably won't this year, was online payment processing and payouts. So if we have the ability where people could register online and then pay online, I just thought it would be a lot better for us. We looked at everything that was out there, and Challenge was the only one that checked all the boxes, and it happened to be free. The other ones that we could have used, you have to belong to Magic. It has to be a Magic tournament, or it has to be a Yu-Gi-Oh type thing. So it was the only one we could find, and so that's where we are.
Okay, I understand 100% of that, and I will just say there's a new game out recently called Larcana, and they're running store championships through Challenge. So it's not like we're doing something nobody else is doing.
It literally has hundreds of thousands of subscribers to Challenge. It's not some little Mickey Mouse thing.
Exactly.
And
It is now.
Well, it sounds sounds like it kind of is a Mickey Mouse thing.
There you go. Fair enough. And it's free, and I mean the advertising in it is annoying. Somebody like myself who is in it all the time, I pay an extra, I don't know what it was, I think it was $80 a year, and I don't see ads at all. So it's up to you if you want to put up with the ads or not.
All right.
And I will say I've been, I've seen some of the functionality because I'm going to help a little bit with it in OKC. And they've also made a lot of improvements this year, too, which I think is going to make it a lot easier to use and a lot more streamlined. So when I went in and got a little tutorial just in case, that anyone needs backup in Oklahoma to run it, I thought that everything was flowing much better. That could be a symptom of it being used so much for Lacana, but it sounds like they're developing and investing in it constantly too. So I think it's probably I don't think it is an evolving platform that I'm hoping continues to work better and better for us.
Yeah, if I could jump in here a little bit, Joe. We noticed last year that we had two annoyances with it more than anything else. One of them was that it did not support what we call two-stage tournaments. So in our case, we play 7 rounds of Swiss, and then the top 8 go into the finals. What happened with Challenge is they have 2-stage tournaments, but they never supported Swiss and single elimination in their 2-stage software. Well, we complained a lot, and I guess we weren't the only ones, so it's available now. And so that's part of what Joe was talking about. That functionality is there, and starting at OKC, we are using it. It makes the life of the administrator much, much easier. The second annoyance, which really upset me often, because I was on the email constantly with the support at Challenge, is that it just kept buggering up our rating system every tournament. I had to go in and have them change things, okay, and rerun some correction programs because it had bugs. Well, the really nice thing, more than anything else this year that I can say is they've revamped the rating parts of the system completely. And we were invited to be part of the beta program. So I've done a lot of testing on it. I've consulted with Phil Keffer and Mike Sutton, who are probably our leaders in terms of ELO ratings, how they work and so forth. We have reconfigured the way the ratings are calculated. The K factors are much different than they were before. If you go into Challenge, you're going to notice last year people's ratings have changed. The order of some order has changed a little bit too, but that's more because of them correcting problems that they didn't catch than us changing these K factors. But the nice thing about that is they recalculate on the fly. So if we notice somewhere that, maybe we want to change so that we give beginners a little extra point or two, we have the ability to do that, and it will recalculate right from the start over again if we decide to do that. So I don't know, I'll probably bore the heck out of people if I get into the details of the K factors, but I'm happy to talk to it if somebody wants to hear more about it. But let's just say the rating system is much better this year, and we're going to be keeping forever, we're able to keep multiple ratings, so we're going to keep an overall rating, so it never resets. The more games you play, the more points you get. And then we're going to have a seasonal rating that it starts from 0 again, and you can see how well you did on a given season. So that's all set up, ready to go right now.
And Howard, I just want to clarify for everyone else too, if I understand it. Those are both ELO ratings for yearly and lifetime, but that's completely separate for how we're rewarding Player of the Year?
Correct.
Correct. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, what does ELO stand for?
Electric
That's a
light
question. It's named after an individual. I'm sure Phil Keffer's on there. He could probably talk to that a lot better than I can. But I forget the guy's name, but I think his last name was Elo, actually.
Oh, that's really somebody's name. Maybe that is it. Hey, I got some questions from the group. Howard, here's a real quick one. Are all the ratings up to date right now?
Yes, they are.
Okay, they are. And Marcel's asking about the K value. Was the ratings reset to the 1600 and new K value? But I don't think we want to get into the K value.
So what Doug, I've lost you, I think. But what we're doing is what they did traditionally with Overpower from the start. Last year we started players' points at 1,000. We're starting them at 1,600.
Okay.
You become what we call a pro when you reach 2,000 points. When you reach 2,000 points, your K factor drops from 32 to 15. That's about as easy as simplified of a description as I can give you.
All right, I hate to ask you this. Can you hear me okay, Howard? Just nod yes if you can hear me. Okay. What will that do to the ratings, changing someone's K factor from 32 to 50?
From 32 to 15. When you become a pro, your K factor is 15, so
15.
you get less points awarded with a win than somebody that has a K factor of 32.
Got it.
And your drop is a lot greater, right?
Yeah, if you play somebody exactly equal, the winner gets
You hardly
16.
move at all.
Yeah, the winner gets 16, the loser would lose 16.
All right, that's good. All right. Oh, somebody asked a question for Joe.
What do we got?
Oh, and
Play
I can
test.
kind of answer it, but Marcel says, hey, BMG, second quarter coming fast. are you saying we're only going to have promos for the 2024 season?
No, not only. I think what Marcel's asking is what else is coming out this year. So, what I can tell everybody is we are currently negotiating with 3 different IP holders. That's been the holdup for a lot of months. We thought we were going to have an announcement earlier, but the most I can say about it is essentially 2 of them are locked up, and the contracts are either signed or being inked. We're really waiting on the third one because we want to announce an entire slate of what's going to come out. So you'll know the first 3 IP license sets that are going to come out. What we're actually doing right now is, I think you heard probably a month or so ago, we started reaching out and building the playtest groups. So what we're going to be doing this week actually is Howard's already actually been let in on this because he signed more NDAs than I think anyone's ever signed in their life at this point. So we're getting together with each one of our many playtest groups, and we're going to have a call with them, and we're letting them in on what the IPs are going to be. We're physically printing the playtest cards involving the first IP that we've licensed and sending that out. We're getting a physical print sent to us right now to just do one more quality control review on those cards with physical cards. So the set's designed. The set's been graphically designed for the playtest. And then we're going to get those physical cards out with some placeholder art to the playtesters. It's really just going to depend on how fast they can turn the shipping around. So we're planning to hit print by tomorrow or Wednesday for our physical set for BMG to do the reviews. And then that when we hit print, I'm hoping within 2 weeks we have the review set. It's probably going to take us 3 or 4 days for everyone to go through it, see if we catch anything else. Then we're going to hit print. Playtesters are going to get their first set of the cards to start playtesting. And the intention is to play test both in the modern environment, which is only going to be the new cards going forward, and then also have play testing done with how the cards are going to mix with Legacy, because the intention is everything is going to be 100% compatible with the old game. And so we've got one of our BMG members, Keith, is running the playtest with all of the groups. So we're going to be assigning certain things we need tested, certain characters. We're also going to be going to people and saying, like, for this 2 weeks, like, break this mechanic. We come up with the thing we're not thinking of that's absolutely is broken with this mechanic. So so we've got a whole person heading up that playtest. But the good news is anyone involved in that playtest is going to know all the information that everyone wants to hear, hopefully within a week.
Yeah, that's fantastic. You got the chat all excited. Brett says we are now moving into the phase where shut up and take my money. Ricky, so that answered your question about playtesting. Looks like they are ready to move forward with that. Ricky is asking, so can some of these cards be changed or altered before mass printing if things are caught? That's exactly what playtesting is for. So
exactly, yeah,
things will be changed.
I mean, I can tell you, you know what, I'll give you guys a little fun. I can't tell you the IP or the character, but we've been doing the thing where we've been so excited about doing playtesting on our own that Sean Sawyer, our art director, and I have just been, like, writing the cards on paper, like I think most people do when they first start designing the game. And I can tell you, like, stuff's definitely going to change. One of the characters that I was primary design on, I really like spying mechanics. And one of the cards that I always thought, I'm a Doctor Doom fan. Doctor Doom has a time machine. Of course, you want Doctor Doom to do something at some point with his time machine. And it might be in the top 5 worst cards in Overpower. The time machine card for Doctor Doom lets you look at 2 cards from the top of the opponent's draw pile. You're not even looking at what they have that hand. But I've always thought to myself, we put out 221 Baker Street as a home base that allows you to discard a card whenever you do a spying effect. This has become a pretty popular battle site. It's been involved, I think, in just one tournament-winning deck. I think Tyler, Howard's son, won with it once. It's not, I think other ones have won more, but it's got a special place in my heart because I love the spying cards with the psychic guys. But there's no mechanic so far for looking at the deck. I'll try not to go on really long. I have a tendency to ramble. But we designed a card for one character that Initially, I was like, okay, when we have a card like Industrial Waste with Iron Man, that allows you to discard 5 cards from the top of the draw pile into the dead pile. That's a card that doesn't see a lot of play, even if people are using those characters. Phil, you can give me a nod. Were you playing Industrial Waste in your Iron Man deck?
No.
No, he's nodding it off. So our thought was, okay, if you're spying with the potential to discard 1 card, it's got to be more than 5. So we went with 8. We gave a character a non-1 per deck that lets you look at 8 cards from the top of the opponent's deck. If you were playing Baker Street, you would also get to discard 1 of those. We said, okay, you're seeing their whole next hand. Is that'll make that card worth it? But also, is it going to be worth it? So it didn't seem like it was that good. So we changed it. We said, okay, let's make it where you can put a number of cards on the bottom of the deck. That way you can kind of take some of their better cards and shift them to the bottom. Well, then that was way too powerful, because instead of just putting a couple good cards on the bottom, people were just leaving all their duplicates in their hand and then like giving them odds they were going to get a second dupe. And so that now we've cut that specific mechanic down to 6 cards. You only look at the top 6, but you can put a certain amount on the bottom of the deck without reshuffling. And it seems to be working pretty good. But to answer the question, that's the process we're going to go through with a lot of these new mechanics. Is we're going to count on these really experienced playtesters. I mean, the beauty of this community is there's no new game that ever hits the market that is going to have the experience of the amount of people playtesting with the amount of experience we have. You know, we've got people that were winning national championships when I was in junior high that are going to be playtesting this game for us. So I expect the answer to the question is a lot of cards are probably going to change. A lot of design principles are going to change with the relative value of how high attacks we want to give. You know, with an initial set having a modern format where we're not playing the old stuff. We also have the challenge of designing team defense. Like, how much team defense do we give out in a first set? Well, it's certainly going to be a lot less than people are used to. So there's also going to be getting used to playing a new set that isn't going to have 7 sets of 9 or less avoids and negates. So there's going to be some in the set, but it's also going to be a little different, and you're going to have to figure out how you're playing a little differently. So that's the very long-winded question to give you an idea of both design principles and playtest principles. But yeah, absolutely. We're going to be changing cards constantly, and these play testers have an invaluable amount of information and experience, and we're going to be counting on that to help us hit the mark and make what I think is going to be a really, really fun, balanced set.
Okay, now I'm going to go back to the chat and get caught up a little bit. The captain says, love hearing about these new card ideas. Hey, Vlad, how are you? I don't know what's going on, Vlad. We tried to figure it out and we couldn't. Howard just really phased out on us right there. Howard, if you go back and watch right about there, you were ghosting us completely. I don't know what happened. Josh says, I'm excited to draft a new set and play just with those some games. Josh is also playing against some tough Baker Street decks lately, probably online, I'm thinking. The captain says, hey, we all really want a pulp theme set. So if your third IP falls through, maybe look at some public domain characters. And Drew Tab, hey Drew, how are you? He says, if you don't have a bunch of hand-drawn index cards, are you even playtesting?
No, you're not. No, you're not. You have to.
And Ricky says those playtest cards might become collector items.
God, I hope not. I got stick figures on half of them.
Echo, let me figure it out. It's okay. We can still hear them figure it out. Okay, good. Howard, I think I got a couple more questions for you that I wrote down here. Let me see. Oh, yeah. You think you guys now is going to stick around even after BMG launches a full-scale organized play system?
Yeah, so the question, Doug, is what do you think is going to happen with the NAOL once BMG hits the streets with new cards and so forth?
Yeah, and also a formalized organized play system for locals.
Yeah, so I mean, I think I'm not sure, frankly, where we're going to be. I'm hoping that, Joe and company become very, very successful. When they are, the need for having a group such as the NAOL, I'm not sure we're still there, but there's always going to be a need for some group, if, we want to be backwards compatible, to figure out exactly how that's going to work. I believe it's going to be just a huge challenge. I have to be quite blunt about it. I suspect if we're going to be backwards compatible, there's going to be cars in the legacy world that are going to have to be banned, because I'm not sure with the new mechanics how exactly they're going to work. So we're going to find out, I think, once the play testers do their thing, and so I think there's always a place for the NAOL, and I don't know. I think I'm just going to hold my breath a little bit, Doug, for another 12 months before I really answer that question definitively.
I mean, I can, as the other entity, I hope that there is. I mean, the plan right now is exactly what Howard said. It's that I definitely envision one of the things the NAOL does for sure is helping us with exactly that interaction. It's exactly what he said. We all know that the old game has issues with how the rules were both designed and how the rules were kept track of and implemented originally. And the reality is, we want to provide prize support, but at the same time, like I don't think we want to be the ones walking through the minefield of constantly trying to figure out how the old environment functions properly. What we have done, and I'm very excited about it, and this is another part of the announcement, Dave McMillan, who's been working with a number of other people, the new rule book for the BMG game, for the new Overpower card game, is supposed to have we've been working on this rule book for 3 years. We have summits and we come to the same place and we have a whiteboard, but the first readable version, I've been assured, is going to be done by this weekend. So I'm gonna put Dave McMillan on blast right now so that I get it. But the good news about that is, we keep saying that there's a new rule book. I want to be clear that really what there is a rule book. And what I mean by that is there is so many foundational functionalities in the game that we just do that literally don't exist in the rule book. For example, the timing order of attacking and defending. Any other CCG that you play lays this out. Magic's is very complicated. Like, I play a card. There's somebody else, you pass priority. They have a chance to respond with something. That code goes on the stack. They can play multiple cards on the stack and then choose when to pass you priority. And it's incredibly complicated. It's also having a really good understanding of that is how pros are pros, because there are extremely complicated interactions. The good thing about Overpower, in my opinion, is it gives a game where it's not nearly that complicated, but we also don't have any. There's no real concrete, there's no battle mechanic laid out for exactly back and forth. So when we say a new rule book, we've just done that. And that's the case for a lot of areas, is we've just laid it out in very clear rules. But when you sit down and play the game under the new version of the rules, 90% of the game plays exactly the same. If you want to just sit down, grab your old deck, play a game of Overpower, you really don't notice much of a difference. There's only a few major differences that really help clean up some of the mess that always comes up in the old games. And I'm not going to go into it all because, again, I know I tend to ramble. I could go on forever, but I will say you could pick up that rule book and learn about 10% of it that is actually different rules and play exactly the same way you've always played. It's not going to require you to have that level of knowledge that Magic has, but it also, like one big section is just identifying the terms and saying, okay, what does acts as actually mean? Acts as is a term that's used on many cards, but we've sort of ignored it now. We just say, okay, it doesn't mean anything. this acts as a power card. No, it's just a number that can attack and defend. It's not really a power card. It can't combine with a universe card. And there's a number of terms that function that way. So, we've basically just said, okay, here on paper, we're going to identify these things. So when these questions come up, there's both foundational rules that identify it, and there's terms that identify it. So it's not going to be led by a series of erratas. This is also a big reason why we just got rid of the codes. We want the games to be figured out by you can just go check a rule and then you can understand how a card works. You don't have to say like, well, this is an HI, but there isn't a meta rule for a BA that does this thing, and this card also says any. Like, wouldn't that meta apply? But it's not listed. You need to be able to crack the Da Vinci Code to figure out how some of these cards work in tournament play sometimes. And so to circle this all back, Howard is in the NAOL is most likely going to be doing us a huge favor by doing that very heavy lift in figuring out the interaction between the old game and the new game. Does that all make sense? Did I go on too long?
No, you're
You can
perfect.
play that. You can play that Oscar music that plays when I like the wrap it up music.
I'm going to interject here. I've got you. And Doug, sorry about this, but one suggestion I would give on behalf of the community is if you can highlight in the new rule book where that 10% of changes, probably be helpful for people who are just, trying to transition over.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. We do recognize that unlearning is far harder than learning. And our intention is to do, if you saw what we did with the white icons, I don't know if you saw the actual visuals that we put out where it laid out each white icon. It explained like what each one did, and it gave you a real good visual explanation of exactly how it was going to function. And then we also called out any changes like, any heroes can now be made as additional attacks. That is our intention to do with the rule book too, is once it's finished. I think that's a great idea, Howard. I think we'll find a way to do that. I'm going to take that suggestion. We'll find a way to notate it in the document itself. But additionally, we're also going to be putting out cheat sheets essentially that says, this is how you're used to it working, and this is how it works now.
Thank you.
Well, I think, and this is kind of going the opposite direction.
You're muted, Doug. We can't hear you.
All right, sorry. I think I'm going to kind of go the opposite direction. We get so many people that watch us that don't know how to play the game. I don't think they have to unlearn very much because they simply don't know, because they haven't seen a rule book since Monumental, and they may have picked it up either after Monumental or before Monumental and left before Monumental rulebooks came out. I don't know how much unlearning most of these guys have to learn. They basically need to learn. And then that's just my opinion. You guys do what you wish.
Well, I think too, a lot of the changes are to make the rules a little bit less convoluted. I think I generally believe it's going to be far easier for a new player. And this is also going to be reflected too in the way we've done some of the graphic design for classic cards. The playtesters are going to see this when they come out, but we're redoing the layouts for classic cards like the teamwork card. They're still going to function the same way, but they're going to be laid out in a way that's much more intuitive. You're not going to have this formula with 6 different icons. I'm not going to go into it, but when you see it, I think you're going to like it a lot better. But it explains in words exactly how the card works. It's got a slick look, and it creates a lot more uniformity between all the cards. So there's not questions about, well, why is this different? Why is this icon here that has this functionality? So I think for new players, it's going to be a much easier experience to come in and learn the game and to be able to track everything from, like a power card's damage is in the top left and allies in the top right. Like, I can't tell you how many times even experienced players do the math wrong because the cards are fanned out and they see the 5 on the ally and think that's damage. So, we're going to be working with the playtesters for the best way to do this, but the making the user experience for new players as user friendly as possible is absolutely at the top of our priority list.
Howard, here's a question for you from the chat. The captain is asking how you determined or why you determined to allow Masters of Evil into tournament play, since it was a purely fan-made set. I guess we'd have to
This probably wouldn't be for
we'd have to
Howard.
define fan-made. Marvel's was not a fan-made set. Marvel's was 100% done by Overpower before they canceled the game, and the card list was just announced after the cancellation. But Masters of Evil was totally made from non-pros. I don't want to call it fan-made, but maybe it is. I don't. What's your opinion on that, Howard?
Howard wasn't around when it happened.
Oh, Howard, I think you're muted.
Howard.
Oh, and Howard is froze.
Can you hear me
Oh,
now?
there he is. Yep.
Yeah. I'm going to take the easy way out and say, well, the decision to use MOE was made before I got involved. But
And I'll take it back from you. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, that said, the people who designed that are many of the people who are playing in our community now. So I wouldn't call it fan-based, I'd call it community-based, Doug?
Yeah.
And so the decision was we want, because a lot of these specials are really good. They really allow a lot of characters who would have never have been played to play now, and there's a couple of heroes in there. So I believe it was the right thing to do. It's too bad that it's taken so long for some people to get the cards. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll kind of add on to that, like, you know, as a company, if there was a way to go back in time and do it where we could start BMG earlier and get similar cards out and be doing this whole process 5 years earlier, we would have loved to have done that. But at the end of the day, the difference between what happened with that set and what's happened with all of the other, quote, fan-made sets, every single member of the community, when it was still the North American Overpower Alliance, all of the groups participated. Everybody picked characters. They designed their own things. Then it went through play test. Then it went through redesign. Then people argued and fought about it. And then it went through redesign again. But it was something that at the end, not only did the set get designed by a community, but I feel like that's really what made us the community that we've become, where, you know, all of us we're more than just a bunch of people that get together to compete and play this game. We're friends. Like, I've gone up to Toronto to play D&D with Sean and the Goat, who's in this chat. I had an awesome weekend, like, just playing in a D&D game. We didn't get the Overpower cards out once, and, you know, like, Dave McMillan now is one of my closest friends. He's moved to Rhode Island, and, like, I picture it like, if I'm gonna have a wedding, I think, you know, 60 of the guests are probably going to be from the Overpower community, because we become, I don't want to use the cliche that we're family, but we're certainly all very good friends outside of it. And I really put a lot of that into rebuilding the community with making that set. And honestly, people just want to keep it. It's like Howard said, we did a breakdown of how many characters were being used before that set was out, and you were consistently seeing in the ballpark of 12 characters out of a game that has 260 plus characters. And that now is expanded to around 40. And I think the last time we did the math, I'd have to add it up, but there's so many more strategies. I mean, you know, Tyler's one with an intellect deck. Derek built a fascinating deck that was a 51 card one with the minimum that was just built on not having any duplicates and being able to draw and get into them. You know, we've seen Phil pull out Magneto, 4-grid Magneto, and win a tournament. Like, these things were unheard of in the environment before that. It just, the last few sets weren't really designed with making it so you could play your favorite characters in mind. So it's something, it's always a tightrope to walk, but we need people to want to keep playing the game so that the community's vibrant, so that we can go out there and we can talk to these comic book companies, and then they can go online and see that there's a really active community, and then they're more likely to let us license their IP. And I can't go into the details, but I can tell you the flip side too. You know, they see everything that's going on. We're having meetings with every comic book company that exists, and they see it all. They come on and ask us, like, well, what's this website that still has this thing up that they're trying to sell? Or why is there so many bootlegs of it online being sold to do this? So I know there's always a lot of, like, us being the bad guys about, like, customs and this and that. the efforts when we finally get to a point where we have to put our foot down with something, every time it's been a direct impediment to us being able to get the license and bring all the properties you guys want to see back on the shelves. And luckily, it looks like without, I can't make any promises or tell anything, but we're in the room with everybody and we haven't gotten a no from anybody yet. So all of that's still in the works. But just please, like, give us time and work with us. Like, nobody likes making fan cards more than me. I love seeing the art. I mean, you can't be selling them. You can't flood the online with them daily. Just like, just work with us. Let us get this game on the shelves. Let us lock down the major IPs. And in 2 or 3 years, when everything's there, like, just work with us so we can get everything back to where it was. And honestly, I think it's going to be bigger than it was before.
All right, I got one more question on play testing. How super secret are the play testers? Is that a closed door list that you don't want to be getting out who's play testing?
I'll leave it to them to say if they are or not. I can tell you from our standpoint, we don't think they have to be secret, but at the same time, I'm not going to come out and say, hey, XYZ is playtesting. And then I get a lot of emails now at this point about Overpower stuff, and I love it. Anybody that sends me private emails, keep doing it. I have no problem chatting with people and answering questions. I genuinely love this game and anyone who's a fan of it. But I wouldn't sign somebody else up for that without their permission. So I'm not gonna. BMG's not gonna give out. That's privileged private information on our part. But if they want to go out and say, hey, I'm playtesting, that's great. They just are also all on NDAs, so they're not going to be able to tell you any more about what we're doing than we're already telling you.
Right. I think the playtest list, the players should probably be kind of secret. For now. I mean, eventually it's going to come out anyways who all play tested. Marcel says he's got a last question. What are Howard and Joe's opinion on Marcel dominating both this season and the new game of Overpower? Do they make a GOAT card? Did they make a GOAT card?
Yeah, but I already got it, Marcel.
Yes, and it has Phil's picture on it, Marcel. Sorry.
And look, I'll say this, that we talk about this a lot at our meetings. I mean, this is probably more than half of what BMG spends their time on.
Dealing with Marcel.
Just how well is Marcel going to dominate this card game? And I'll.
Oh no, Joe just froze up on us.
Marcel lost.
Marcel
he's
uses powers.
dedicating that part of his brain to be ready for the new game. I don't know if you heard that part. I said, well, I flickered a little bit, but I said, look, any of the matches Marcel's lost the last couple of years, it was my understanding he's dedicated so much of his brain to getting ready for the new game. Those losses have slipped through. Otherwise, he would have gone undefeated. I mean, we know that, right?
Howard, do you agree?
I just wish him the best, that's all.
Way to toe the line there, Howard. Ricky says Marcel's going to see the new GOAT card and say they accidentally put Keffer's face on this. Ricky, that's a good one. Guys, we still got 19 people in the chat. The most I saw at one time was 21. I could be wrong, but I want to thank you guys for coming on tonight. It's been great. We're going to do a last call for questions in the chat. If you got something, we're about to wrap things up here. Howard, my last question for you is, what's Peace Bridge looking like for 2024 in June, right?
That's right, June 14th and 15th. For those who've never been to the Peace Bridge tournament, it has a completely different vibe than the other tournaments. Ours is more of a social affair, and we kind of dub it the all-inclusive Overpower experience. So it's lots and lots of fun. Out of respect for Josh and the work he puts into the OKC shootout, I don't want to say too much more at this time about Peace Bridge. That said, I just encourage our American friends to get your passports ready. Know that your American dollar goes a long way in Canada. Niagara Falls is the #1 tourist destination in all of Canada, and be ready for a fun, highly competitive event in Niagara Falls. I hope to see you then.
And I'll add on to that. It really is a great. It's Ed was one of our good friends to everybody here, and he ran. I always said, as someone who runs the Boston event, Peace Bridge when Ed ran it, and now when Howard runs it, is my favorite for that reason. We get together and we play Overpower, but it's drawn the most people, I think, because the location's like relatively central for everybody to get to, and it really has that feel of like we're all getting together and spending the weekend together. And Overpower tournament is one of the things we're doing. So if you're really looking to get a taste of what this community is like, I highly recommend that. And I also highly recommend OKC if you can get down there, because I'm going to be playing in it, and I believe we're going to have someone else doing the commentary satellite. So you won't have me on the commentary for OKC, but you'll get to see me bring my new Cyclops deck to it. So.
Okay, so in other words, Joe
Doug,
will
if
be
I
handing
could
out wins like candy on Halloween. He'll be passing them out left
If I
and
could
right.
just, Doug, say one more thing.
Sure.
We talk here like we're a little clique. We're really not, okay? And what I'd like to say to anybody on the line now that is kind of relatively new, we take real serious the fact that we want new players to come out.
Yeah.
Our entire community is very, very supportive of new players. And frankly, as one of the leaders in the NAOL, I expect that. And if I don't see it to the degree that I believe is necessary, if somebody's sort of bit out of line, which I've only seen once and all the time, I've been involved, that person changes the tune the way it should be. So please feel welcome to come. We'll make you feel welcome, I promise.
Sounds
Yeah,
great.
absolutely. And I think it's a testament to say, too, I feel this is just my personal observation, but when we get new players out, when people actually come and experience it, you see them again. Like, I feel like we have a really high retention of people that try a tournament out and then say, oh yeah, this is great. I want to be a part of this community.
Joe, I got one last question for you and a statement. Everyone in the chat is saying you didn't ramble. They appreciate all the information you gave out.
Thank you guys very much.
They hope
Dave's, I was going to say,
No,
Dave's the guy that does the interviews normally, so.
and they say they hope that you and Howard both come back again soon. So my last question is, maybe one you can't answer yet, but will there be battle sites in your new sets?
I may get in trouble for this, but I'm gonna say that no, there won't be. That's the plan is to develop something that is going to fill the role of that, but I believe we'll call it something different and it'll function differently. That's not something we've hammered out yet, but I can pretty certainly say battle sites. The idea of like taking the character and pulling a card and then you sub a name in for that character. And then also, from a design standpoint, it's so hard to balance too. Like we are really trying to make sure that we make an awesome standalone set, but we're trying to not completely discount the old environment. Like we want this to be functional in both versions of play. We want there to be a really healthy, fun environment for whichever way you want to play, also including draft. And the thing we always come back to is we'll think of a mechanic and it's like, how's that going to work if it's on a battle site? She's Daphne. See, she agrees. She's like, no battle sites. So look, I'm gonna answer that and say I'm 99% sure the answer is no. You're not gonna see battle sites. But I do think you're going to see something else that is gonna work better, and you're gonna end up liking better than battle sites.
Great. Now let's put in a plug here for Josh at OKC. So many of us have trouble getting out there this year, and Josh, I'm really sorry. I wish I could be there. My Thursday night battles with Phil have really made me want to be there even more. We just can't work it out. So I hope you guys can. I'd like to see him pick up some new players because there's so many from Ohio and so many Canadians that aren't going to be able to make it. So if you're on the line about going on the fence, go. You'll have a good time. It'll be great.
And if you guys are, we're if you guys are worried about having cards to play, hit me up. Like, I'll build you a deck and hand it to you to play for the event if you need it. And
No, Joe, they
we've
want
been
a good
getting.
deck.
Well, that's true. You guys might want a good deck. But we've also, I know Adam has been playing with a lot of people online. It's been going well. I know Sean Sawyer plays with them. I think Dave just set up his camera and had his first online game. So we also are available to try to get games in with people online if they're. I know a lot of times the hesitation is, well, I'm just going to go and lose. I always do like to tell people my first tournament back in Canada, I didn't win a single game, and I've since won a tournament. So don't feel bad about that. Like it's a blast getting back, and you pay attention to how everybody plays and what the meta is. And that's honestly my favorite thing in Overpower right now is watching players that are either new or returning and haven't played in a long time, and then watching them come out and just kick butt. Like watching Scott Flint go undefeated in the Swiss at Champ of Champs was awesome. Getting to commentate on Ricky's match with his Jubilee deck against some of the players that he played in Boston was awesome. I've told Ricky I tried to build that deck a dozen times and I could never figure it out. And then watching some of the things he did with the events, that's awesome, and it's great. If you're worried about not winning, just tell yourself you're probably not gonna in the first event, but you'll come back with a vengeance in some of the later events once you figure it out.
Right, and you'll be better. Ricky
Absolutely.
said he's bringing 2 new people to OKC. One can't play Saturday, but will be there Friday night. Octobon, how you doing, man? Good to see you in the chat tonight. Marcel says, thanks for coming, guys. Brett says, best chance to pull out and win with the biggest player clubs not attending.
That is true.
The competition will still be rough, Brett, so don't think you're going to get an easy win. And then Ricky says they'll have home bases that don't have specific characters, but do wonder if there might be specific character ones for home bases too. Does that sound right? Ricky's asking. Figure they'll have home bases that don't have specific characters, but do wonder if there might be specific character ones for home bases too. Ricky's asking you that, Joe. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
I mean, I'm just going to say that I can't say one way or the other, but that sounds like a real good idea.
Okay. All right, Ricky. That's all we got for you as far as your answer today, but stay tuned. Hey, guys, I hope you come back. Joe, you or anyone from B&G is always welcome on the show. When you're ready to announce the IPs, if you want to come on and talk about it, we'd love to have you. Howard, anytime NAOL has anything going on or if you just want to hang out with us. Joe, thanks for watching Thursday night. Come into the Thursday night battle.
I was so glad I had time. My schedule, I tend to have a pretty busy schedule in the evenings, but I was in New York. Well, it was actually sad. Unfortunately, Ron, who I was staying with, his daughter was sick, so I ended up with some free time. So that part was a bummer, but it gave me the night to watch the games, and that was great. And I was even taking screenshots and sending your deck build to Dave, saying like, "Look, he's doing a teammate avoid deck." So
yeah. He'll have to play against a real deck instead of my Any-Hero deck with it. But it was a lot of fun. And Howard, we always appreciate seeing you pop up in those chats too. I don't think you've missed maybe one Thursday night battle so far, if any.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Well, if you guys, if anybody can't make OKC, definitely watch the stream because I think I'm going to be playing Dracula's Armory with my Cyclops, and I think you're going to see a very well-known card that I'm going to bet has never seen tournament play before in my deck. So,
all right, we'll watch for it. We'll try and get you on camera in game 1.
All right. Yeah, that didn't work so well for me at Champ of Champs, but I'll do it again, sure.
All right.
I played Scott in round 1 at Champ and Champs, and he destroyed me.
Scott had a strong Swiss, and then he lost it in a single limb again. All right, guys, thanks so much. We appreciate it, and have a great week. We'll see you Thursday, maybe.
Yeah, see you guys later.
Have a good night.
Take care, guys.
Night.
All right. What? Why did it do that? Let me see. Sorry, guys. I'll get this. Where'd you go, Phil?
Just left.
Whoops. Oh, wow. Look at that. Doug and Phil on a blank screen. Where are we at?
No, we're invisible.
Oh, we don't want that one. Wow. We're gone.
Show's over.
I'm going to click on all of them until I find us. Is our camera even on?
I'm showing OBS.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Did you turn that camera on?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's not the one that goes off, is it?
No, it doesn't. I got rid of that. This is really weird. Oh, wait a minute. I got it. I'm sorry, guys. That shouldn't be there. Why is it doing that?
You need to click something. Let me try to turn it on and off again.
This is hilarious, says Michael. Yeah, we like to entertain you. What the heck? Where'd we go?
You're there.
The camera's on? No. Oh, this is crazy. I don't know where we went. Well, there. I'm going to give you guys a blank screen for just a minute while I try and figure this out. Or maybe we'll just get out. Michael says, this is hilarious. Thanks, Michael. We love to entertain. I don't understand where that camera went to. Properties. There we go. Oh. Yeah. Try that. Does that do it? That didn't do it either. Oh, well.
I sort of see you.
They don't mind. Look at that. The chat's blowing up now that they don't have to look at us.
They're happy.
Cat says, yeah, not to be. Oh, half the fun is tech inaptitude. Wow, really, Captain? You're gonna do that to us? Yeah, we love you too. We can take it. It's a post-credit scene. That's it. John's great to see how the sausage is made. I wish I knew how it was made. A blooper reel. Yeah. Hey guys, have a great week. We're gonna get out of here so that we're no longer embarrassing ourselves. Guys, have a great one. We'll see you soon.
I still saw Joe and Howard in there. That's weird.